Looks like we're starting it. Zoom is zooming.
Thing.
And
nice, very nice, dramatic zoom in. It's almost memey. Cool. Okay, so let me see. Let's see. So I take it like if there's like a chat, like you.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Very nice.
So I'm Blake Cabot. I'm nobody ever sees me. You could, but it wouldn't be helpful.
You don't have a body. You're a disembodied spirit.
I'm a disembodied person. That's exactly who I am. And and we've got PTBarpun.
Yes.
And she is going to be taking us through the joys of female superheroes. So we got 3 sort of smallish designs that we could do. So hi, Kathy. Hi, Alma. And hi, Barbara.
Hi.
And well, with that, let's begin.
Awesome. Okay, so really quick, like I'm gonna be like, it's like 3 different like elements, but first one being She-Hulk muscles, and I'm gonna be using like the neon. Wow! Well, I drop it on myself. It's the neon green from Craze because I love doing muscles. It's also like muscles that I did. Hello from Ireland. Hello. Oh man, one of my best friends is in Ireland. I decided I like Irish people based on that.
Good enough reason.
It's a good enough reason. That one. I mean, that means that 100% of the Irish people I know are very good people. So, statistically speaking.
Exactly. And there's not so many of them. You like one. You know, why not?
Yeah. I'm in Oklahoma, so I don't run much of a risk of running into a bad one too, so.
That's true.
And I'm using like a stipple brush because I noticed that it seems to get things to, like for anyone who doesn't know, I usually do like really long streams, and I do like a lot of characters on live streams, but I usually spend like a long time doing like one character. So I have like a lot of big brushes that are meant to cover kind of a bigger area, which is why I have my stipple brush for these. I don't think I've ever done She-Hulk before, but I have done muscles before, and I love muscles. Actually, I got some excellent advice too from a Twitch body painter who said that when she's looking up how to do like muscle shading, she doesn't look up pictures of like, you know, like bodybuilders or anything. She actually looks up artist guides as to like how you would draw muscles, because they actually give you really detailed anatomy. I'll adjust this right here too.
Hi, Chana.
Hi. Happy Monday. It's Monday, right? I'm not going crazy. It's Monday.
It is Monday, in fact.
Cool. Look at that. Me knowing the days of the week. You know, you're dealing with some advanced stuff there. And I'm not super worried if we're not getting like, because I'm not trying to get it completely covered, because it's going to be just a lot of shading and highlighting. So, because again, I do like a lot of layers. I'm holding this so close to my mic, it's probably just like ASMR. Brush ASMR. I'm sure that's a thing. There's ASMR for everything. Like there's like, somebody had a video of like somebody doing ASMR like on a French fry, like they're like tapping on a French fry to get that.
So what kind of brush are you using?
So this is a stipple brush. Usually if I'm using lighter colors, it's really difficult to not get things streaky when you're covering like a big area. So I really like stipple brushes because by some voodoo they just don't streak. And then I'm just kind of putting like a base layer down, but we're going to be doing some more. I have like a reference photo of just like, you know, like an artist guide on how to do muscles. And that's what I'm going to be following for the She-Hulk. There's a surprising amount of requests for She-Hulk. I know that they're probably talking about doing like a movie or something too. Okay, so I'll just put that in. Obviously, since like we don't have a ton of time, I'm not going to like, you know, I'm not going to be all green, but this will.
Like if you were all green, I've been advised. That's a 4-hour.
It's just an hour of me painting myself neon green. It's like, all right, guys, have a good week. Thanks for showing up. So yeah, and then that was it's the crazed neon green, but I'm gonna use like a Maron. It's kind of like a lime-ish color, but a little bit lighter.
Which Maron? Paradise?
Yes. Yeah, I always use Paradise paints for this stuff. See, I'm gonna back up just a tiny bit. You probably can't see this. It's this thing. I love it. It's the giant pack where you don't have to mix any of your colors. They're all there for you. And then I try to use fluffy brushes when it comes to stuff like doing muscles because it's just a lot of blending involved. Let's try to. I usually use my hand as like a palette just to get like a sense of like how something looks. I'm gonna go over to my reference photo again.
So when you get photos, I'm just curious how everybody else does it. Do you just kind of, I seen Athena look him up and she just kind of looks at a tiger and she just kind of looks at her favorite tiger picture online and that's how she does it. How do you do it?
Let's see. Well, it depends on a lot. So if I'm doing like a superhero, like just kind of generic, like, Spider-Man, Superman, I'll always look up that hero in specifically comic. I never really want to look at, like, for the most part, if you're doing superheroes, you're not going to be doing like hyper realism stuff. So I'm usually looking up like, Superman comic, and I'll look up like what's like how old is that hero, and I'll look up like comic style because you have so much more creative freedom if you're trying to do something comic style. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to doing like muscles, like that's when you actually get medical with it. Like you can look up, Grey's Anatomy, muscle anatomy, and stuff like that. So it kind of depends. Like if you're trying to do something like hyper realistic, like I did a 9-hour paint of Captain Marvel, and that one I decided to go hyper realistic. And I was like, I looked up set photos because a lot of the time in their promo photos they're like oversaturated and doesn't show you what it really looks like. So I'll try to look up Captain Marvel set pics. Let's see.
You're green.
I am green. So I'm just.
Susie said, my 3-year-old granddaughter said, "No grandma on face," which I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds fun.
No grandma. I don't look that old. Like I have a 3-year-old, but I'm not quite there yet.
No, not quite there yet.
No. Dag nabbit.
I say dag nabbit too.
Dag nabbit. I spent 6 years in Texas. I got used to saying dag nabbit.
I got it. I was raised in Texas as well.
Oh my goodness. Where were you?
Austin.
Okay, I was in Keller, Texas. I was in like Dallas, Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. I liked it a lot. Okay, so I'm just kind of using my reference picture and just kind of mapping out where these are going to be sticking up.
Where college football's a religion.
Seriously is. I never seek out information on sports. I enjoy esports, but I really couldn't care less about like football. But you can't get anywhere in Texas without it's just everywhere. It's like it's a religion.
Yep. Absolutely.
Also, I never listened to country music either. I thought it all sounds the same. I'm not going to listen to country music, but you can't escape it. And the next thing you know, you're like, that thing I heard in the grocery store is actually
pretty good. You listen to Willie and Waylon and the Boys.
Yeah, I got really into like Brad Paisley and Carrie Underwood, and I thought Brad Paisley was hilarious. He's basically a comedian in like country music artist form.
Chad lives in Louisville, Texas. Another Texan. So are you trying to sort of just try to lay down a flat green across all your muscles? Are you trying to highlight it in certain ways or?
Yes, what I'm doing, so I put like the green like base down so I didn't need to worry about that. And now I'm looking at my reference picture and seeing, okay, so where is this actually sticking up? So like obviously like your shoulder is going to be a big one that's kind of bulging out. So I'm putting like a lighter one here. Mm-hmm. It looks like there's like 2 separated muscles right there. So I'm just kind of mapping out where am I going to be sticking out? Because since this is going to be kind of comic booky, then we can like really overemphasize like the shadows. And like where I'm sticking the highlights now are going to like stick out quite a bit more.
Cindy's from Virginia.
Oh, I lived in West Virginia, which I know isn't the same thing, but
it was before the Civil War.
We probably had the same weather at some point. That's something.
Yeah.
Genie. Okay, and then let me.
So how many of the people watching this do body painting? I'm kind of curious. I mean, have done it, have tried it. Just curious, because I'm of the view that most face painters, in fact, don't do body painting. But
Yeah. I feel like I come across like whenever I talk to like a lot of face painters too, they're really confused when I say that I only paint myself. It's very rare for me to actually get to paint another person. Like, but how do you do that?
Well, Kathy does. Kelly Alessandra.
You do it on yourself? Awesome.
Jana does it on herself, exactly.
It's nice for me, like when I'm practicing, if I'm painting myself, like especially at the beginning, there's no one to witness the failure if I fail on myself. Also, like whenever I live stream it, like I said, it's like, you know, like 9-hour stretches. So that way you don't need to have the guilt of like having somebody, you know, cooped up in the office for 9 hours.
Which I've done. My basement.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start to put down like where the shadow is between everything. But a lot of this, like it's a lot of like kind of basic stuff, but you're just like layering a lot.
So Cindy did one, but the model was horrible and kept telling me if you were going to get sick. So someday I'll give it a try.
Oh my goodness. That's one thing I'm worried about too. Like I have so many friends like in the live streaming community that are like, oh, we need to go to a con and you can paint me. And I'll let them know. I'll be like, okay, just let you know, a lot of this stuff is like, it's like 6 hours plus to, you know, to get it done. But there's no guarantee. Like it's not like a canvas where like you can set it aside if it's not working or if you need a break from it. Like it's a person. Like if they get mad at you, they can just walk off. There goes your canvas.
Kathy has her sisters to practice on.
Oh man, I'm jealous. That's awesome. I have my 3-year-old, but he doesn't enjoy the whole sitting still thing all too much.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's
not a fan.
No.
Even if he's like, I want to be Spider-Man, I'm like, all right, I can paint Spider-Man on you. As soon as you get going, it's just like, all right.
People that do body painting, how many of you do it on men versus women? Why is it always on women?
That's a good question. And you know something too, like I feel like whenever like I've had to like, you know, wear pasties and like paint and stuff, whenever you're trying to paint like male superheroes, like you kind of have to do illusion paint and get rid of the chest. And I always thought I've been envious of like the idea of having like a male model because like there's nothing to do some illusion funkiness on.
Wow. So this is Ruth is going for the green from Oregon, tried body painting and did a dance company. Love the face painting. Hubby and daughter are right there painting beside me.
Wow,
Family
that's
that
so
paints
cool.
Together stays together.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm envious of that. That's one thing too. Like it could be kind of because like I don't have any friends in real life who do body paint or face paint, so I don't have like a lot of people that I can like, you know, go to in person and consult and stuff like that. That must be really nice to be able to get feedback immediately from people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so wouldn't it be easier to paint on a man just because there's less?
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like again, like when you're trying to do like a male character, like you have to do some like illusion work to hide the chest. So it'd be really cool. Like if you have like a male model, I imagine it'd be like a lot easier to make it actually look like the suit.
Now, as you're painting this, so how are you defining the muscles?
So what I'm doing, so like I have, trying to think how to explain that. So like I have like almost like anatomy textbooks up. So where I have like, I put like my highlight, like my lighter color, and I have like kind of a smaller, but still like a fluffy brush. And I'm exaggerating it. It's like where it's going to be like closest to, like this is higher up, this is lower down. And I'm just like marking out where this is going to be like at its lowest point. Because when like I'm doing basically like kind of like comic booky, over exaggerated, like kind of blocky, which is kind of nice about doing comic stuff is you don't have to do a lot of like nuance to it. Like you could tell already it's pretty obviously like I'm doing muscles. So I'm just looking at my.
Kathy says women are more pleasant to look at.
Oh, I imagine so, Kathy, for sure. I watch a lot of like K-Pike fashion on Twitch is absolutely phenomenal. Holy cow. She's wonderful to look at. I can understand that.
Oh, Tanya makes a good point. Men are hairy, as is Amanda.
Oh, you'd have to shave them. Oh, wow. I'm married to a relatively hairless person, so that's actually never been something I've be concerned about. I hadn't considered that.
Okay.
To convince a guy to shave his precious, precious chest hair.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here's a major body painting no-no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's a good reason.
It even bothers me too when I see somebody like live streaming and they're like face painting and they have like a lot of peach fuzz, and it'll be like a chick with a lot of peach fuzz. And if you're putting especially like white paint on, you're trying to do like a skull thing, like in the bright lights and the HD webcam, you could just kind of see everything.
Hi, Zuri.
Zuri, hi. Again, I'm gonna try to like wrap this part up too. I'm just gonna take like some white, but I'm not gonna make it like super creamy because I don't want to like a white blob. But then I'm just gonna put like a little bit of extra white, like right at the highest point. But yeah, again, that's like the fun part of like if you do like comic booky stuff, it could be like nice and blocky and outlined, and you don't need to sweat terribly much. That's what got me into doing like superheroes, is just like realizing like, oh, there's so much more freedom. It doesn't really have to look real.
Exactly.
People, zombies and Frankenstein. Oh, Frankenstein's so fun. Have you done anything for the neck? What are those things? They're like bolts sticking out.
Exactly.
Ah, it's so fun. I love Frankenstein.
Yeah, you got to use some kind of prosthetic for that, right?
Heck yeah. Yeah, but I've seen people like if you use liquid latex and you get like cotton balls and you shape the cotton balls and you just put it like on your desk, let it set, and then once it's dry you paint it silver. You use more latex and you just stick it on there and you use your latex as adhesive, and bam, easy neck bolts.
Could do a fun thing on that one day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the magic, and I made a venom tongue, like a really long one out of cotton and latex and alcohol paints. It was so shiny, and it looked ridiculously real. Like in photos, it really looked like it was in motion, but just the magic of cotton and latex, holy cow. And then especially like if you make like a face cast. You have like your own face to work on basically for like your mask and stuff with your latex. A total game changer. Then if you're like me, you might actually also have like some feet casts to make stuff on.
You have feet cast?
I do. I have a foot cast. I have somewhere on the floor. I actually have two of my faces from all of the things. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and like call that like at least the Hulk arm wrapped up, but that's basically it. You put like a just a green base color down that's like not really bright, not really dark, and then you take down like your highlight, and then you could like really exaggerate like between your muscles for She-Hulk. So then I'm gonna move it up to my face because I'm actually going to do the Wonder Woman headband, which I really love to do because like there's not a lot of the time you actually get to use like gold face paint, and this is like the Wonder Woman headband from like the movie. Which is also another one that's just so much, it's just a lot of shading and highlighting.
So Caleb said, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with She-Hulk series. It would be nice to see some body practical SFX for her.
Yeah, instead of having just like all CGI, heck yeah, that'd be nice if they, and because the things that they could do now with like fake muscles, like holy cow, there was something we saw the other day where like it looked, oh no, it was Thor's fake belly in Endgame, where it was just like, it was this silicone, awesome, hyper, it just looked so real. It was like a silicone belly, but it looked legit. They could probably really make a very buff looking She-Hulk in a movie.
Well, the 300 is all guys with airbrush makeup, so.
In 300?
Yeah.
It also reminds me of, in Twilight, one of the Twilight movies. What was it? Robert Pattinson decided not to work out the stinker, and they ended up like airbrushing abs onto him.
Exactly.
Give him the fake muscles. There's my gold. And then this is Mare Paradise paints again. It's going to be the...
So Chana does a makeup artist, but she does face paint every year on Halloween because for the 31 days of Halloween.
Oh, very nice. I know. Yeah, I have quite a few friends who, like live streaming friends too, who were like, they don't really actually do that much with face paint, but they'll start like in September and just start working on like a paint for every single day in October because they get like an amazing crowd and like a whole new wave of following just from getting the right stuff out during October, which I always tell myself I'm gonna do because these people start preparing in like August and I'll be like, well, you know, it's August, there's time. And then, you know, it's like, oh, it's September, there's time. And then it's October and it's like, well, there's always next year. Okay, let me open up my reference picture. What are these? There we go. And then I'm going to be using, it's just kind of like a flat brush. There was like the other day too, like there was a face painting friend of mine and there was like this mini debate of like, we were video chatting and she saw me spray the face paint cakes and she's like, oh, you know, like because she only dips them. And it actually hadn't occurred to me until not too long ago that a lot of people like dip their brushes instead of spraying the paints. And I've always just kind of sprayed them and gone ham at it. So it's kind of funny to think about. I wonder what like the if there's like a really huge difference between like if you dunk your brush. I mean, obviously you're probably getting like a little less water, but you can't do 31. You did last year. That sounds exhausting, Zuri. It's such a beautiful, like it's a great daydream of mine. Like one day, you know, 31 paints. But yeah, every time it rolls around, it seems overwhelming. Like the creative energy. I think also I'm kind of worried about, like I recently did like a neon skull thing on stream. And it wasn't until I finished stream and I looked on Instagram and it's like everybody's doing neon skulls. And I'm always worried about like, what if, I'm gonna zoom in on my face more. Y'all could see Bob Ross in the background better too. Just peeking out over there with his little squirrel.
Does he look like a werewolf or is it just me? I just
want to know. He looks like a werewolf.
I think he looks like a werewolf.
He's a very tan, very fuzzy man.
Okay.
Makes certain brands gooey and gross. Oh, okay, I guess I could see that. There's like what is it? There's this one. It's the Tag Neon Magenta, and I noticed it got kind of like spongy and like kind of squishy. I still loved it because it's a really I love, for someone who loves doing galaxy paints, like a really vibrant neon pink is dreamy. But yeah, got kind of squishy.
Yeah, so that's true, Kathy. A lot of people spraying the paints makes it goofy and gross. It depends how much water you use, but yeah, you can mess things up. It's absolutely true.
Yeah. You always tell yourself you'll do it, you never get around to it, Kathy. Same. I like the idea so much because there's so much time to prepare for it every year. Like it's 10 months. I feel like also like the past few years, there's been like a kind of a big surge of like face painters, and there's so much like content out there. It also makes me like a little paranoid of accidentally copying someone else because so many people. You spray yours not lots of. Yeah, I got like, this is like a spray bottle from like Dollar Tree, and it has like a crazy spread, and there's like one that's like a straight line, and I keep it like on the straight line one. I do a lot of paints where I cover myself in one color, so I really like just like going ham at it. Attacking my cakes.
Sarah sprays hers, but not lost though.
Yeah. Oh, you spray yours on mine. Oh, got it. Gotcha. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have a picture of her headband up, and I'm just gonna do like, I'm just looking at the general, like not the silhouette, like a silhouette. You know what, silhouette works. We'll say the silhouette of it, just like the shape of it. And then I'm gonna take like a detailed brush, and I'm gonna like map out where like all of her lines are, because this is kind of like multi-layered. It has like 3 layers to it. Also, it's so shiny that like as I'm looking down at my mirror, it's like it's reflecting so much. I was having like a little bit of trouble for a sec. They're like, where does it begin? Where does it stop? Where does it start? Ow.
Ow.
I just elbowed my paints for some reason. They didn't do anything wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, guys.
Don't hit the paints. Don't.
I know.
Paints.
I mean, it seems kind of basic. You don't really. I'm sure you don't elbow your employees.
They get cranky if I do.
It's you tested it. It's 0 out of 10.
No, I never tried that one on. Yeah, that's. I got a bunch of people at a warehouse. They would really get cranky.
For a few of my jobs, like I've worked from home and I've like worked remotely. So luckily, no one's had the opportunity there. I'm sure they wanted to at some point, but can't elbow me through Skype.
No, you really can't. Absolutely not.
There's that song, Kiss Me Through the Phone, but instead of Kiss Me Through the Phone, elbow me through Skype. I think that'd be a hit. Okay.
So we've got a gold.
Yeah, so we have that, and then I'm thinking fine spray as such, yes. Okay, let me look in. Okay, so now what I'm gonna get like one of my kind of skinny brushes, one of these little dudes, and I'm just gonna map out where the layers are gonna be, so I get the proportions right, because then I know where I can start shading, highlighting, and whatnot. Also, she has kind of this really cool like star right in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get
So a couple of announcements. I think it's the last day, but we've got a 15% off on FacePaintcom, and it is the last day. It's got 5 hours and 26 minutes, 19 seconds left. That's down to the wire. So the coupon code is scary15. So if you need to load up on FacePaint.
Nice.
And we still have the Craze palette giveaway. We're giving one a week away. So if you want to do that, go to FacePaintcom. And what else? Oh, we have a lot of webinars coming up. Oh, yeah, the Instagram contest. We have our Instagram contest going on. So if you want to do crazy designs, we're going to pay $500 to the lucky winner.
Wow.
And, $500 Facebook. So if you need you need to buy a crazy face paint palette. Yeah. Well, Zuri, you know as well, so it won't be difficult. And we're actually getting it back in stock. We've been out of stock on a lot of this stuff. It's been terrifying. But I think it's arriving tomorrow, and Newberg going to be probably up on the website on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how it goes. And the upcoming webinars we have, which we have a whole page dedicated to this. Oh, this is a good question. So, Kim, I've been painting for 5 months. I find it difficult to remember the do's and don'ts. It seems to me that a lot of things depends on the painter, since everyone is different.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it depends on so much. And also, I feel like a lot of, like, as long as you just keep practicing stuff, because a lot of it eventually is just kind of like intuition and muscle memory. A lot of it is so much of it is just like practice and building up memory for it, because a lot of stuff you eventually don't even need to think about anymore. Like, you get into a routine, but just definitely keep practicing. Also, like I found, as weird as it sounds, I stopped looking at like a lot of like face painters, and I started looking at just art for like inspiration for face paints. So instead of just like, looking at body paints or looking at makeups, I would just start looking at like, like classical art or like retro looking stuff or pop art. And I got the motivation to practice a lot easier that way. Because also I feel like there's something when you're like first starting to, and I know like five months isn't like just starting, but when I was like starting, it's almost discouraging if you see really insanely talented people doing the kind of stuff that you want to do. And I didn't feel as discouraged when I was just looking at pieces of art. Just like speaking from personal experience as someone who's just like, this is my skill set. This is my ambition. And when you see people that are like up there, it could kind of, it got in my head a little bit. But that's me babysitting myself.
So we have the other thing we can have that can help you out, Kim, is we have a Facebook group that you can join, and it's called the FacePaintcom Learning Center, and we've got different units on learning how to face paint, which you might find interesting.
Very nice.
And I post a link.
I mean, the empathy of others helps a lot too. I'm in a few discords where it's like a lot of body painters, and it's just like, my paint cracked after 5 hours when I was, working hard on something.
Kim agrees.
Yeah, people who can empathize a bit. That's a lot. Oh.
Yeah, and Kathy says, look at Makeup Forever, because they teach you to look at art instead of body painting.
Wow. Yeah. Man, I love Makeup Forever. Dagnabbit. Such good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Only gotten like sample sizes because they're, to me anyway, they're a bit expensive, but oh my goodness, the quality is so good.
And some other webinars we got coming up. We've got on October 23rd, we've got Zuri, who's on this very call. She's going to be showing us scary monsters. And when Zuri does a scary monster, it's scary.
Zuri is wicked talented. Holy cow, she's so good.
She is. She is. Hey, what liner, Bex asked, what liner brush are you using? That gold has great coverage.
So I am using what the brushes? Oh, liner brush. So this is Crafts and Colors round brush. They actually sent it to me. If you find like their Instagram, they're actually giving away like a lot of brushes. But yeah, it's a 3/0, their round brush. But yeah, the gold is Maron Paradise paints. I love it. You don't have a lot of excuses to use gold paints. But it's so cool. And like you could shade and highlight it freely too. Actually, I shade this with eyeshadow a lot of the time, this gold. And It plays nice. And deal with this little star thing. Yeah, awesome. And there's a bunch of superhero movies coming out too next year. With like,
there's always superhero movies coming out.
Oh yeah. That cash cow was probably good to be milked for like the next 10 years still. And then there's the remakes. After that, you get like the whole new generation and be like, oh, they're remaking Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sean has been drawing since a young age, but started drawing on nails, then decided to draw face and body.
Nice. I'm horrible with like normal drawing. It's like I can't wrap my mind around like a completely flat surface no matter how hard I try. Like working on a body is a lot easier for me for some reason. It's like when people I'll have people like in my stream that are like, I can't even draw a stick figure. I'll be like, neither can I. Twinsies.
Wow.
Probably paint one though.
You can paint one.
Yeah.
You're like the Sundance Kid. He can't shoot straight, but in her hand he can shoot quick.
Yes.
So the other things we got coming up is we got on October 28th, we have nice Halloween designs. And then we have face painting with stencils with Pam Kinneberg on November 4th. So stay tuned. Here is the link to the page, should you need it.
Stencils are magical. I saw like something the other day where someone did like it was like a Peter Pan thing where they use stencils for the clouds and stuff. And
really?
Oh yeah, it was one of those things where it was like on Instagram TV or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to use it was like a stencil with a Graftobian airbrush.
Wow.
Going focus mode for a sec. I'm used to. I think I mentioned it a bit earlier too. I'm used to going for like 9 hours, so that's why I'm like trying to.
Yeah, you're not used to having to rush like this.
No, It's all right.
9
It's a good
hours.
challenge. This is like it's a speed run for me.
Somewhere in there you have to go off and eat or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, so I have like BRB screens. I made like my own commercials where it's like highlights from other streams. So like I'll just play like a highlight reel while I'm running away, and you try to like remake like lots of pre-make. Wow, I'm still thinking about movies. Yeah, you try to like pre-make stuff that's like packed with protein. I always have like amazing mods in my chat that keep people entertained in chat, and it's a production basically. The whole setup. It's about probably like a day setup, and then like an hour heavy prep, and then you stream for like 9 hours, and then cleaning everything up takes another day or so because like there's just like there's wrappers, there's dirty brushes, there's plastic. I glue it like I got these like from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna glue these to my face at some point during my next stream. Just like a lot of it is just it's really intense setup and breakdown, and it's a production.
It's a production.
It is. Okay, so I feel pretty comfortable. That's pretty like basic. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna do something kind of funky, and I'm going to get black eyeshadow, but you can use like black powder pigment. I actually believe that Maron, I think it's called Star Cakes. They actually have like a black powder pigment. But this is one of the things that I do when I do my character paints. Put that on for a second. But I'm gonna use black powder pigment on a brush to start shading the headband. Also helps a lot with shadows. Let's see, which one should we do? We'll do like this really flat little boy right there. I don't know the brand on that little guy. Okay, then I'm gonna pick you up. Because yeah, her headband's kind of worn out and like it's not rusty, but obviously it's seen some action. Well, with her being Wonder Woman, who knew? She does stuff. And then I'm gonna like kind of drag that down. Like while it has like kind of heavier pigment, I'm kind of almost like pushing it on there, and then you start to carefully like drag it away from where the shadow is supposed to be.
So you're trying to give it depth.
Yeah. This is like this is like kind of what got me into into face painting. Is I saw it was like a random post on something, and somebody had like painted clothes on themselves, and it broke my brain because at first you look at it and it's like, wow, that is incredibly tight clothing, and then you keep looking and it's like, wow, they did that. Yeah, the illusion aspect is my favorite thing.
So you're big into illusions too, huh?
I love them. Holy cow. Yeah, probably my favorite paint that I ever did was I did like it was the Captain Marvel suit. It was like the 9-hour paint I mentioned, and it looked so real. It's the best thing I've ever done. I don't think I've done anything that looks quite that real since, but it was good enough that people were actually sending me messages when I posted it on social media, like, wow, I love your suit. Where did you buy your suit? And I got to be like, I painted it on. There's like a certain high when you get like reactions like that, like the sense of accomplishment from people, being really impressed with an illusion is something else. I feel like that's why like her username on Instagram is Mimles, but she's the chick who they hired to do Ezra Miller's makeup on the red carpet. And she did the trippy like multiple eyes, but she does eyes so intensely realistic they really look real, and like that's her whole niche is really insane illusion makeups, and it's incredible.
Yeah, we use somebody, Setavisti, who lives in Montenegro. She does some stuff for us like that.
Oh yeah! Oh man, I'm such a fangirl of hers. And when I saw like posts of hers on the site, I was just like, oh my gosh, I love her so much.
She's crazy.
Yeah, she does one on my favorite one she ever did. I think it was just called White, but it was the one where she painted her own face on her face. Yeah. And made it look like her face was like projecting this mini face onto her own. It's still like, even watching the time lapse of her doing it, it still broke my brain to watch it, because it's like, how do you first come up with a concept for that, and then how do you know? That's what I'm jealous of. How do you know how to execute that just like by freehanding it? Broke my brain.
She's going to be doing like 30 some odd designs for us. We're going to start releasing after Christmas.
Awesome.
So we're going to have all those that we're going to release them on our emails and on our blog.
Yeah, I stalk her Instagram hardcore. I'm an addict with her stuff. It's so intense.
And we'll have it on our Instagram page as well. We'll have videos of it.
Awesome. Yeah, I love like her time lapses. It's super helpful.
Yeah, she's great. Absolutely great.
And she pumps out like so many new ideas so often too. Let's see. Okay. I'm just gonna keep going around with, and then it gets really fun when you start getting to add a white paint and really start to make it pop out there. Oh, went a little too heavy. I always have like, I always have a rag nearby at all times, just because it helps. Because I always put like a tiny bit too much, so either like I dot it on my hand, or like I always have like a rag nearby.
Well, even Monet painted over his own paint.
Oh, that's right. I forgot who that was. Like, there's like this like the paint restoration thing, and they put like this weird. It wasn't like an X-ray. It was something like that though, and they're like, hey, there's stuff under here.
They did. They put it under X-ray, and they found all sorts of stuff under Monet's water lilies.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that one. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like something that helps a lot too, like whenever I'm streaming, if I make like a mistake that I just can't fix, you just go ahead and modify the paint to be a comedic paint. Just go ahead and roll with it and make it really wonky. Hopefully I won't have to do that here, but like I feel like humor helps a lot. Like if you ever do stuff where like your paint is really public, because like especially with art, it's easy to get really scared and kind of sensitive about what people might say, because that's your baby. Like there's nothing more personal than putting your art out there. It's like you're exposing yourself. And it helps so much, like, you know, if you make a mistake, you make the joke before someone else can make it. And suddenly it's actually really funny, and you've got yourself a bit, and you've got yourself a highlight right there.
Bex just said, just started out building up my kit, airbrush and paints. Always loved art, so it's always exciting. You guys are inspiring. Well, thank you very much,
Bex. Man, I have the Graftobian walk around system, Bex, and just airbrushing, like it's, when I started airbrushing just complete nonsense, just like zigzags and stuff, because airbrushing is so much fun, and I like the paints could be a bit expensive, but oh my goodness, it's just, yeah, no, airbrush kits, it's pretty thrilling. And especially you can even go to like a craft store or whatever, and there's this sheeting where you can make your own stencils, and you just like cut out with like a craft knife.
Mm-hmm.
You go ham. Oh my goodness, yeah, airbrushing is a lot of fun. And then if you use like latex and cotton, like we were talking about earlier, I airbrushed. I made somebody a Davy Jones mask, and I was able to color it using my airbrush paints, because with like a lot of airbrush paints, it's not just like water activated stuff. Like it's a combo of alcohol and water, so it's a little more resilient than just having water activated paints.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I managed to do like a Davy Jones mask for Halloween. I think it was last year. I tend to use 100 words when 10 will do, but in short, airbrushing is awesome, and I'm very excited for you, Bex.
Airbrushing is awesome.
It is. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Also, it makes you feel really productive even when you get very little done, because you've got your whole machine, there's all these wires everywhere, and there's just air, and it's like also like technical. That even if it looks like a smudge, you're just like, yeah, I'm a pro. I got her done.
You have a stencil burner? Wow. Okay.
A stencil burner?
I have no idea what a stencil burner is.
What? What's a stencil burner? I've just been using my craft knife. I like hold it up to like the iPad, and I copy like a picture that I find
I
from
see
like.
What a stencil burner is. Okay.
Does it what it sounds like? Like it burns a pattern into like the plastic?
I think so. Hey, Bex, you have a link to your stencil
burner?
Teach me,
senpai. Yeah, holy cow. Here we are in 2009, Bex in 2019.
Exactly right. It melts the plastic. Wow.
Oh, okay. So it's what it burns. It like melts the design that you want. It cuts stencils nicely in plastic. Wow. I didn't know that. It's like a hot needle.
Oh, okay.
Dagnabbit! I've been buying like the sheets and holding it up to the iPad, and then you accidentally touch the plastic too hard, and the iPad freaks out and thinks you want to go to the next picture.
So is it this kind of thing from Blick that I found? Is it like this?
Been doing that for a year, Bex. You just crushed my whole system. That's hilarious. Whoa. Man, this thing is like chipping apart. I will hold on to my brushes for dear life. Like there's one of them too that I just legit, like it just fell apart and I just wrapped electrical tape around it because as long as they can pick up paint and they can like apply it, I'm going to hold on to them. Brushes go through a lot. Probably going to toughen up some of that shading in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and get to, this is the Paradise Paints in white.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get another one of my little skinny brushes. This is actually a marker brush. Oh, nice. And then I'm going to start to not outline, I'm going to kind of highlight the edges.
Oh, so Beck's got everything in the UK, so.
Oh.
But it's kind of like that. We do not sell stencil burners. Well, we might just start.
Oh, the futuristic British technology.
Oh, it's futuristic British technology.
Gosh. Doctor Who is on or something.
Azuri is in the mirror now painting. I'm so enjoying this live great convo.
You're the man. Yay!
Zuri's painting.
Zuri. British people with their time travel and their stencil burners.
Yeah, they're cooler than we
their
are.
Bidets. Bidets, right? Yeah, bidets.
French. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I bet it was a British person that. Yeah. What I usually like to do too is like after I put like my line down for my highlights, I'll like, rub the brush with the rag and then I go back while the paint is kind of wettish and then I kind of like harass the edges to like make it blend a little bit. So there's not like a really hard line where the highlight is.
Exactly.
I mentioned like pestering my paint a lot. I never let it sit by itself. I do like 5 or 6 layers and gotta keep attacking it.
Absolutely.
Elbow it.
Till it begs for mercy.
Yeah, put the pain in paint. Am I right?
Exactly right.
It is actually a little bit funny. The word pain is the word paint is in the word paint.
There's often, it's a very common key word is face paint.
Oh my.
And you're never quite exactly sure what they mean by that. Like face painting.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid what that could possibly mean.
Only one way to find out.
You're very welcome, Alina. Must be from Italy.
Ooh. Usually by the end of paints too, my hand is a complete mess because that's how I flatten out my brush. So I push it against my hand until it's the correct shape. Dang nabbit. Halloween's like 2 weeks away. I was wondering where all these pumpkin patches were coming from, but almost pumpkin day. Okay, old dude. I'm definitely going to tighten up the shading on the bottom. There's some little gaps down there, but this is usually what I'm used to doing. It's a lot of layering and you're bouncing back and forth between stuff.
Mm-hmm. So how do you switch between face paint, sort of, let's call it wax-based face paints like Craze or Tag or Diamond or Wolf, and Paradise? What caused you to switch, or what are you using for different things?
Yeah, kind of depends. So like, if I use Tag, like I've tried to use Tag before, like when I'm doing like stuff like on my chest or on my arms, but it seems like how much I layer, like Tag can't handle like a lot of motion. So if I'm using Tag, I'll keep it like around my face, or if I'll use it for like stars or something. And then usually like glycerin based paints, like the Mare in Paradise paints, like I'll use for basically everywhere. But usually with wax based paints, I'm a little more selective.
Mm-hmm.
I layer so much. I feel like it's almost, can you think of a good name for your body art biz? Ooh, great Bexpectations.
Mm-hmm.
Because your name's Bex. Yeah. Bexy and I know it. Anyway, but yeah, where there's a lot of motion, I tend to do like Mare in Paradise paints. With probably, I haven't had any issues with Craze. Like I've layered Craze like a lot, like the neon paints. I layered them basically everywhere. I was doing like this test paint the other day where I did like a whole galaxy thing, and those actually did not crack on me. But yeah, whenever it comes to like Tag, I'm a lot more careful as to if I'm putting in an area where there's a lot of motion, because I move around a lot, and I paint for a very long time. Yay, Bex! I think I did it.
There's a slow little delay, so you have to be aware of it.
Yeah, it looks like there's 7-second delay.
Like, so Bex didn't hear that as soon as you said it.
It's like you're doing stand-up, and it's just like, chirp, chirp. That's my other flat one. I feel like something too that I don't see all that much is I love like doing really intense shading with black powder pigment.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like it's a great skill to have to do like, you know, all of your shading and stuff with like darker paints instead, but it's just just eyeshadow could just be show. Well, could be show. Apparently, I'm Sean Connery. Be so nice.
Awesome.
Also, something kind of funky that I do is I use the butt of my brush to actually be like an eraser sometimes. Because if you push down hard enough, it kind of just like wears away. So especially like if the paint is wet, like I'll actually use like the pointy end, the pointy end of my brush is kind of like an eraser type thing.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I've never seen anybody do that before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if it's wet and you're just doing like little details and stuff, like you could just straight up use it as an eraser. It's pretty cool. That's one thing, like I was mentioning, like just how you just like need to practice a lot earlier too, is like learning how like paint, because body paint behaves in a pretty different way than like acrylic paint does, and it's almost like learning like another language.
Acrylic paint?
Well, obviously don't put that on your skin, but I mean like when I did like canvas paint, I do like canvas work, that's what was confusing when I first started doing face paint, is like body paint has a whole different behavior than for how long it dries and how it blends, and what's safe to do when. It has like a whole different, it's like a whole different person you got to get to know. Okay, I'm just gonna get like a fluffy brush to take care of how kind of hard that shading is. So
I think we're bringing this to a close.
Yeah.
We got 3 more minutes or so. What should the people know?
For face paint, like seek out heroes, like find artists who you admire, and it'll help you like get like the motivation to practice a lot, and just like trust yourself to practice. And it's if you fail at minimum, like you've learned something. Because like like I did just say, like it is like it's its own like little behavior, it's its own little person. So just keep fiddling with stuff. Just fiddle, find stuff to be inspired by, and just keep practicing, keep fiddling.
Okay, I think those are words of wisdom.
And don't elbow your employees.
Yeah, no.
Trust the British with stencils.
The British have leading stencil technology.
It's true. It's been proven. We witnessed today.
It's proven. Bex has got it.
Powder paint. Oh my. Powder pigments. Because I mentioned like Maron. I want to say it was called Star Cake. Let's see. I used like a couple of them. Oh, Star Blend. I think that was it.
Yeah, Star Blend. Yeah, sure.
Oh my goodness. Yes. There we go. Yeah, Star Blend cake makeup. Holy cow.
No, that's Ben Nye, sorry. Star Blend.
Oh, it's Ben Nye. Okay. Well, there is what I've used before is that, and it's actually like on FacePaintcom, is the Maron Star Blend cake makeup.
That's right.
The pigment is insane. So use it like with a very light hand, because I didn't. And
yeah, that's right. Star Blend's on Maron, and Ben Nye's got a version of it called Magic Cake, which is also.
Yeah. Oh, Magic Cake. Yeah.
Actually,
yeah. Heck yeah. That's actually also another one where like I used, it's all gone. But yeah, this is Ben Nye Magic Cake in Azure Blue, and this is so intense. Like my only complaint about it is like it stains a little bit, because like once this stuff is like on, it is on for probably took me about a day. Yeah, for life. I have to paint over it every day. It's been a year now. It's my life. Yeah.
Well, perfect. So it's the witching hour has arrived. So if you're looking for, we got a discount going now, and if you're looking for new webinars, or you're looking to try to get some free stuff, please go to FacePaint.com, and just in case to. And then, and we're going to have another one of these next week. So and then I have to look at the dates because I can't remember anything because I'm over 50.
Who has time to remember things anymore?
Exactly. So the next one coming up is Monsters with Zuri. And then we have Halloween. This is on October 23rd, same bat time, same bat channel. And we have nice Halloween designs with Kathy Vergara on October 28th and stencils on November 4th with Pam Kinnenberg. So if you want to learn about stencils, not just on how to burn them, you can do that there. Okay, well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Hannah. And thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.